We've got just one more clip. I see it just came in. I think first initially shared by Jasmine Lane, independent journalist, commentator, um, Poilievre to Mark Carney, to telling him all the things he needs to do or that Carney should stop doing. So let's watch that.
And people can enjoy for 3 or 4 more days before it spoils. And of course, get rid of the inflation tax. We're calling for Mark Carney to reverse his new spending increases, cap spending, cut bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid. We can't give money abroad when we're not feeding our own people at home. Charity starts at home. Cut foreign aid. Put the money into our country. Instead, let's cut back on the handouts to phony asylum claimants. Stop paying for hotels for fake refugees.
Get rid of
the corporate welfare handouts to Mark Carney's insiders and friends. Let's bring down the deficit so that we don't have to print money anymore. Get rid of the inflation tax so that people's purchasing power lasts longer. These are positive, and people can enjoy.
Here's the problem, Sheila. Based on our coverage of the Pierre Poilievre campaign, and yes, as I say, campaigns do matter. And you know what? I think I gave the Pierre Poilievre campaign 5 stars, 5 out of 5. He knocked it out of the ballpark at his events, at his pressers. The problem is, the Mark Carney Liberals stole virtually every plank of the Pierre Poilievre Conservatives. Well, of course, nothing to do with guns. They're not that, far gone. But so I'm of mixed emotions, Sheila, and I don't know what the solution is. When Pierre Poilievre says something that clearly will get popular support, well, the Liberals, they have their pollsters. They know that too. So they'll likely steal it or elements of it and, claim it for themselves, because that's what they did in the last election.
Well, I know, and it sucks because the Liberals are just opportunistic scavengers, obviously, without an independent thought in their head, and their only ideology is power and doing that which will help them hang on to power. But at the same time, these are good. If they do steal good ideas for Canada, I think Canadians are better off. I just don't like the bad guys being rewarded for getting us into this mess in 10 years of mismanagement and corruption. Let's look and see what else is on the board. How bad are wait times in Canada? Study from our friends at Second Street say millions still waiting on healthcare services. It says the report from Second Street shows approximately 3.7 million Canadians. 4 million Canadians, 1 in 10. One in 10 are waiting for surgery, diagnostic scans, or a specialist appointment, and suggest those numbers are closer to nearly 6 million due to incomplete provincial numbers. If you're not on a wait list yourself, you probably know someone who's on a wait list. I think Canadians are getting sick and tired of having a system that's not working out for them and not getting the care they need while paying thousands of dollars for it out of their taxes, said Dom Lusick, Director of Communications for Second Street. And what's the government solution? Have you discovered MAID, Medical Assistance in Dying? According to the Canadian Institute for Health Information, more scheduled procedures are being performed to meet the growing demand. Whatever. In 2024, there are 26% more hip replacements. That's great, but people are also aging, so I'm not sure that's taking a bite out of the apple. 21% more knee replacements, 11% more cataract surgeries, 7% more cancer surgeries, that seems low, and 16% more MRI and CT scans completed across Canada compared to 2019. Okay, but we're also dealing with an aging population and a growing population. So I should hope you're doing more hip replacements. Canadians are aging, and then we also have a population explosion of people from not the most healthcare intensive places of the world. So they come to Canada and they start getting their health care, which is, I guess, fine, except the rest of us need it too.
And Sheila, we've been talking about this for decades, as long as I can remember. And here are the only 2 solutions after studying this very intently, and that is for Canadian families. You want quick health care. You don't want to die in a waiting list. Buy lottery tickets, get Lotto 649 FU money, and fly to a U.S. clinic. You get it done the same day. If that's not possible, for your children, this is the deal. Get them on a good workout and diet regimen. Get professional coaching. Make it so they have a chance of becoming a professional basketball or baseball or hockey player. Because when they get injured, you think a member of the Toronto Blue Jays or Raptors or Leafs are on some waiting list? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? No, they go right to the top of the line. Those are my only two solutions, Sheila, other than, and this is two-third rail for any party in Canada, including the Conservatives, unfortunately, two-tier healthcare. I think the best healthcare systems in the world, I've done a lot of studying on this, are in France and Germany. You have the private system and the public system. And don't listen to the doomsayers, the Cassandra saying, oh, the public system becomes a ghetto. It does not. And basically it's win-win. If David Menzies and Sheila Gunn Reid are in the same line, and I have money to get out of the public system and go to the private system, bang, I'm gone. Sheila moves up one space. Win-win, whether you've got the money or not. But this is a political third rail issue, Sheila. It cannot even be discussed. And that's a shame, because this system is bad and it's getting worse.
Right. And let's realize just how bad it is. We can't talk about a second private parallel system. That's unacceptable in Canada. But we can talk about killing our grandparents or people who have irremediable suffering because they can't get the health care they need. Talking about euthanizing them is more acceptable, more palatable in this socialist hellscape of a country than talking about, hey, we've tried this. It's obviously not working. Should we innovate? That is unacceptable in Canada, and I find that despicable. It's absolutely despicable. And this, I think even the numbers, this doesn't even show how bad it is, because there are people with chronic health conditions who are not even going to bother to get the surgery that they need. They're just like, I'm just going to tough it out because it's just going to be years. So instead of waiting years to get the specialist and then years for the surgery, I'll just figure it out on my own, or I'll just tough it out because it's too much of a hassle. So there are people who have just decided, I'm not even going to do this. There are the people who've given up altogether that aren't reflected in these numbers.
That's an amazing point that you make, Sheila. And I've got a very important question for you. And I'm asking it because I legitimately don't know the answer. You've been excellent on the MAID file. If I picked up the phone today and said, you know what? It's time to say goodbye, cruel world. When can I come into the clinic and get offed? What is the waiting list for that, Sheila? Do you know? How fast is the turnaround?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
It can be even less. Like if you, let's say, like you claim you are in such irremediable suffering that living another day would be too much, that mandatory wait time is removed. You could say, like, look, I have two artificial hips and I can't do the things that I used to do. And it's 2 years to see a doctor for another hip replacement. So I just can't go on like this. If you can get a health practitioner, and that does not mean a doctor, that can be a nurse practitioner, a pharmacist, whatever, to sign off on it, you can do it, and your family doesn't even have to know.
You
they
know
can
what,
just be
Sheila?
blindsided with it.
That is fascinating. And I know I usually pitch you via text, but I'm going to pitch you on the air right now, especially since
David,
I have a doctor's appointment. I have a doctor's appointment coming up next week. Maybe I should ask her. I want MAID, and we go through all the hoops and see how fast it happens. I know what might happen when it gets to the end of the road and I go, hey, listen, it was just a goof. It was just a test. And they're going, oh, no, you signed a paper.
Right. Get in the chair.
We got the injection. You ain't getting out of here. That'd be my only worry.
It's some of the stories I've heard are horrific, and it can be just chronic illnesses that are treated, like diabetes, and that are treated through exercise and diet, like cut the carbs, get on keto, go carnivore. And a lot of these, but we can't talk about that. We have to make sure that everybody has their seed oils and stays inside. It's crazy. This healthcare system is an absolute nightmare, and we're not even allowed to discuss something different because of the powerful healthcare unions.
Hey, Toronto Rebel News fans, listen up. Rebel News is celebrating 10 years of fearless journalism with our 10th birthday bash, and you're invited to join us. Last week, hundreds of Rebel fans packed our Calgary party for an unforgettable night of music, food, and fun. Now it's Toronto's turn. Join us on Thursday, October 16th at 6 p.m. near Black Creek and Lawrence for a night you will not forget. Expect a lively evening with Rebel News journalists and crew, past and present, cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and of course, a birthday cake.
Happy birthday, Rebel. Happy birthday. Happy 10 years, Rebel. There you go. That's what we're talking about there.